house.
Oh, the gray one?
Yes, and are they still alive?
No.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about that house in a minute, but
Okay.
first this house. What do you need?
So
Ken?
about who owned this house, when it was built.
Oh yeah, this little yellow house is my favorite place in Auburn because it was built about 1868. The assessment records say house unfinished, worth $100. It was built by Thomas Eliot and Anne Marie Stewart Eliot, and Anne Marie was the great-great-grandmother of Pauline Copes Johnson, who's sitting right here, and also the niece of Harriet Tubman. Thomas Eliot was one of the Dover Eight who had escaped from Cambridge, Maryland, captured in Delaware, thrown in Dover, Delaware, thrown into jail supposedly by the sheriff, but they managed to throw live coals all over the room, so the family had to scatter. The sheriff tries to shoot them, the gun misfires, they leap over the back fence, and they make it all the way to Auburn and to this little house here. This house is also, I think, significant because of its shape, and there is a hypothesis that West African house forms, folk house forms, were typically built on a 12-foot square model, whereas Anglo-American house forms were typically built like 18 feet by 36 feet. This house, I think, somebody needs to measure it and be carefully study it, but I think it's a West African house form model. And
likely.
Thomas Eliot ended up dying, and he's buried nearby. They had a daughter, Mary Eliot, who married Philip Gaskin, who had come with his family from Virginia in 1864, and his dad joined North Street meeting, Quaker meeting in Sherwood, New York. So Pauline's half Quaker. And their daughter married Philip Gaskin, and they bought this house and lived here for a long time. Mary Eliot's one of only 3 people that Harriet Tubman left anything to in her will, and she helped take care of her when she was dying. And then they moved later to a home that's near Pauline's home, where Pauline's mom grew up on Chapman Avenue.
Yep, that's right. And you know, in her will, they spelled my grandmother's last name Gaston instead of Gaskin. And we wondered why it was changed like that.
Who knows? That happened.
Yeah. Well, those things did happen at that time, yeah. I think it's because the way Aunt Harriet pronounced it, because Aunt Harriet didn't have any teeth.
Oh, that's an idea.
Instead of saying Gaskin, she said Gaston.
Well, could be. This gray house across the road was bought or perhaps built by a barber named John Ware, who was quite wealthy in town and owned several pieces of land on this street, which was then called Union Avenue. And I think he made quite a lot of money in real estate, and it's one reason that a kind of core black community grew up here. And then the Fletcher family later owned it, and that's when I first knew you, I think.
Yeah, and you know, they had something to tell that history. Now you remembered all that. I've forgotten some, but I tell what I can, you know, and that's it. But
I remember more about the 19th century than I do about what I had for breakfast, which isn't anywhere near as interesting.
Right.
Hey, thank you, Mrs. Johnson.